No, you don't need to write this down. Just listen to the instructions first, and then I'll answer questions afterwards. All right? So there is a minimum requirement. Are you looking up there? No, you're not. You are looking at me. Okay. There's a minimum requirement for your introduction paragraph. Okay? You need to have a hook. That could be the first sentence or sentences, right? You need to have a thesis with a thesis introduction, and I'll tell you what that is in just a second. And you need a transition. What's a transition? Amon?
It's sort of like between the intro and the first paragraph, like that's when you're prepared to read the rest of the story?
Yeah. It transitions from the ideas that you're working with in your introduction to the next paragraph. So I'll show. So it just it gets your reader ready for what you're talking about next. And I'm going to show you. Okay. All right. Here is Mr. Larson's introduction. Okay. And this is my draft. So you're creating your draft as well. So if yours doesn't need to sound perfect, and remember, I'm a 34-year-old man. Of course mine is going to sound better than yours. I've been writing as long as you've been alive. Okay? So don't get hung up on because I use whatever vocabulary. Okay? Just do your best and make sure and try to be honest about what your capabilities are as a writer. Okay? Don't try to fake anything. It's better to write from the heart than it is to try to be someone else's writing. Okay. All right. So I start with a quote. It is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge. Okay. So there is my hook. I'm saying that this is my hook. Right? And what did I use? A quote. You were supposed to use a quote, a question, interesting fact, or a description, right? You did one of those four. Now, I have what I call my thesis introduction. So it's just a small statement about the purpose and topic, okay? So I want to be the world's best teacher. So I'm going to introduce my thesis by saying something about being a teacher. It's undeniable that teachers have one of the hardest yet rewarding jobs in the world. That is my thesis intro. Okay? It's introducing the thesis. Because what do you think I'm going to talk about in the next sentence? How Mr. Larson is now the world's best teacher. James, and then what do you think I'm going to read next? My thesis. James Larson overcame odds, worked hard, and committed himself to becoming the world's best teacher. There's my thesis. Do I have my topic? What's my topic? No, what's the topic? James Larson. What's my purpose? To show how I became the world's best teacher. And how am I going to show that? Overcame odds, worked hard, and committed himself. Are those broad statements that I could fit a bunch of different things under? Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to continue. There's my thesis, and now my transition, which is a transition into the next paragraph. James's path to becoming the world's best teacher can be witnessed from growing up in a small town, a Northern California town. What do you think I'm going to start talking about in my next paragraph? Yeah. Growing up in my small town. Do you see how I transitioned from talking about how I'm a teacher right now to what I'm going to talk about in the next sentence, which is starting my biography, right? Starting from birth. All right? So we have really four parts. You have your hook, your theses intro, your thesis, and then your transition. Okay? And look, I scratch things out. Do I want this? No, no, no. That's because it's a draft. When you write yours, it's not going to be perfect, right? And mine wasn't perfect. After writing for 15 years of my life, I still didn't come up with what I originally wanted to say. So it's okay to cross ideas out, to go back, rethink something. Okay, that's why we're drafting. You're not going to create a perfect one. Okay, and one of the things about writing is that even when you're done with your final draft, you can still make it better. Right? Your writing can always be revised. Always be revised. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and create this. Aman, you have